Hey guys, it's Saleh. Today I'm gonna show you the version 1 release of Jesse. It brings a brand new dashboard that I've been working on for months. Couldn't be more excited about it, so let's get right into it. On the first glance, things seem very similar to how they used to be, and that's intentional, but there are new features. So let's execute a backtest. Starting with, you no longer have to manually enter the name of the symbol without knowing whether or not it's right. So as soon as you start writing, you will get recommendations for available symbols and you can choose from them. So that's pretty cool. And we also have a search for the strategies. So let's pick Don't Chain, and I'm gonna pick the time frame of 4 hours. Now the duration section has also been brought up from the bottom of this page, and that's because we tend to use this much more frequently, so it just made more sense. Now the duration is fine for me, so this exchange is also fine. Now if I come here, you'll notice there are two new options, the fast mode and the benchmark. Now let's begin with the fast mode. So I'm gonna turn off the benchmark feature and let's execute the backtest first with the fast mode off. It took us 2.33 seconds to finish. And these are the results, the equity curve and everything. Now let's go back, turn the fast mode on and execute it again. This time it took us 0.29 seconds, which is many times faster than before. So that's pretty cool. Now let's move on to the next feature, the benchmark. Now this is the equity curve of this strategy. If I asked you, how is this strategy doing? What would you have said? Is it a good strategy? Is it a bad one? If it were me, I would say it depends on how the market was doing during that period. So for instance, if the market was going down and the equity curve of our portfolio is going up like this, then amazing. If it was in a range market and we made some profits, still amazing. But let's say the market did 2 or 3 times of what we did, right? Then we didn't really beat the market, we didn't do great. So it's really important to know how the market was doing. So if I go back and turn the benchmark feature and execute it again, this time we have 2 lines in the equity curve chart. The first one, the blue line, is the portfolio. The second, the orange one, is the BTC. So as you can see, we did barely better than BTC, right? So this is really cool. And yes, we did have this feature in the quant report exports, but that's a third-party plugin. So it's not super accurate as much as something that I built right into Jesse. That's one. The other thing is that we were limited to 1 line for the market. Now, here's what I mean. So if I were trading both BTC and ETH at the same time, in the quant we would still see only 1 line. But now, if I go back and add another trading route, this time for ETH USDT, the same time frame, let's say the same strategy, and run it. So, by the way, this is an important error. It's telling me that for the moment, the fast mode can only be used with 1 trading route. And yes, that's a limit that we have so far. So it's important that I turn the fast mode off so that I can run it again. All right, so if I come back here and check my equity curve, now as you can see, we have 2 other lines here. So the orange one is BTC and the red one is ETH. So that's pretty cool. And there's really no limit. So if I were to add 10 trading routes, I would get 10 lines on this chart. How cool is that? Now, before I forget, I have to give credit to Yakir, who is one of the most active developers that we have in our Discord community. The guy's really genius. He wrote the algorithm behind this. So many thanks to him. All right, the other thing that's new is that if I were to add other tabs and let's say I want to keep this result after I close the browser or refresh the page. Now before, if I had done this, everything would have been gone. So I had to start from scratch. But now if I refresh the page, everything stays the same. And that's because we are taking advantage of the local storage of your browser in the new version. Now, in the future, I'm gonna use the database, so even if you change your browser entirely, everything will stay. But for now, I think this is much more useful than what we used to have. So that's cool. The other thing is that the title of these tabs are more meaningful now. So that's cool. The other thing is, let's say I had so many tabs open and I wanted to quickly close them. Now before, the only option was to use the close button here, right? But I thought about this. Okay, so this is a tab. Just like the tabs in a browser, I would like to be able to close them when I press the middle click of my mouse. And that's exactly what I did. So I can quickly close them like this. All right, so that's cool. Now, if I go to the import candles very quickly, we have the same improvements that I mentioned for the backtesting. We have the same thing with symbols. And yes, when you change the exchange, the symbols will also change. We also have the same benefits for the tabs. So that's cool. For the optimization page, we have the fast mode here, which you can toggle on or off. Now you might be asking, why should I toggle it off? Well, there are some times that we get some weird errors with the fast mode that we don't get with the regular backtesting engine. So for now, I'm keeping it as an experimental feature. As we improve it, I will probably remove this feature and make it just the default. But for now, it's good to know that you have access to it if you need it. Now let's move on to the live trading page, which has had the most amount of improvements. So the first thing you'll notice is that we have the tabs here, just like we used to have with backtest. Now, what that means is that now you can trade multiple live sessions simultaneously. Now to do that, entering your API keys inside your .env files is no longer a good option. So I added this option for managing your exchange API keys, and you can add as many as you like for any exchange. You can even add multiple API keys for the same exchange. So let's say you have 10 sub accounts on Binance or whatever, you can enter them here and you will give them a name so that you can recognize them later, and also enter the other stuff. And if you go to the live trading page and turn off the paper trading mode, you can find them here. And just in case, if I enable the paper trading, I won't see them here because we don't use API keys for paper trading. Instead, you will just see the options for all the exchanges here. This was probably one of the most requested features of Jesse. Now, I also did the same for notifications. So we also have a page for managing your notification API keys. Until now, we support Telegram, Discord, and Slack. You can manage your API keys here. And if I go back to the live trading, I have the option to select the notification driver or just select nothing in case you don't want to receive any notifications. So this is pretty cool. Now let's actually start the live trading session so you can see how it looks like running both of them at the same time. For the first one, let's choose Apex Pro, and the pair could be BTC USDT. The 1 minute is fine. I'm gonna choose test entry orders, which is a strategy that I wrote that would enter a position immediately when a candle closes. So everything else is fine. I'm gonna click start. Now let's start another one, but this time it could be on Binance. BTC USDT is fine. Let's change this to test entry orders, and everything else is fine. So this one is working, which is cool. And yeah, so let's wait a bit until it executes a trade. All right, we have a position now. And if I zoom out, you can also see the sell limit and sell stop orders, which are submitted by my strategy. And if I go back to the other tab, we also have a similar case on Apex Pro. So this is really cool. Now, the other thing I want to show you is that before, if I were trading multiple routes, so let's add another one. One could be BTC, USDC, the other could be ETH, USDC. Test entry orders. All right, so before, this chart that we get here was only limited to the first trading route. In our case, that would be BTC, USDC. But now we also support switching between them. So let's zoom out here. So this is for BTC. Right? You can see my orders, my position and everything, but now I can switch. And when I do, you can see the name of it here, and you can see my position and orders for ETH now. All right, so I'm really happy that this feature is finally here. Now we also have some small improvements, such as you can now see the available margin in here. You can see the leverage, the type of it, all in here. All right, so let's terminate this. And just like the other pages, this page is also synced with the local storage of your browser. So if I refresh the page, the result won't go away. All right, so these were the stuff that were really huge, but there are other improvements. For example, if I go to the settings, we now have this general section, which allows you to clear the cache of your browser, which could be handy in case you were experiencing some really weird bug or something. There's also another feature for clearing the database cache. Now Jesse uses caching for some candles when you execute a backtest, so that the next time you execute the same backtest, it will take less time. But sometimes those cache files could cause some issues, and it was annoying to remove them manually, but now we have this option here which could be really handy. Right, so these were some of the most important features that I wanted to highlight in the video. There is more. And if you want to read the whole thing, make sure to check out the article that I published about this release. Now, we're gonna have a giveaway. A random person who likes this video, subscribes to the channel, and posts a comment is going to receive 1 million bunk token. Alright, before I forget, let's pick a random winner from my previous video that I published 2 weeks ago. And the winner is... I cannot read his username, but he's saying, I'm glad to see you after a long time. Apex is awesome. Thanks for adding this awesome decks. Thank you for your comment, and please reach out to me so that I can send you your bunk tokens. Starting next video, I want to write some strategies with Jesse and record the whole process so that you guys can see how I come up with ideas, how I write them, how do I fix the errors, how do I improve my results, stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested, make sure to check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.